Okay, so welcome to this module. We're going to talk about business emotional resilience. So, in this particular case, we're talking about emotional resilience in regards to business. But the reality is that, you know, unless you can compartmentalize, well, let's face it, a lot of people can do that. But normally, what you do is the way that you own business, you normally transfers across into your personal life. Now, no, that's not always the case, but for the sake of this 8 week program, I want to keep it as simple as possible because ultimately um, these are complex topics. But in order to keep it as simple as possible, what I want to do is I just want to cover some overarching topics that I think is really important to keep in mind. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to link you to an audio where you can actually hear a little bit more of the background about this because I want to keep these videos quite brief and each module short so that you can move on. There will be times where you have to maybe consider sitting down and reflecting upon some questions about why you're not having the success that you want and that you deserve. So let's talk a little bit about business emotional resilience, and then I'll talk about a few other topics that I think are really important to that work hand in hand when it comes to mindset and psychology. Now, my experience is not just based on the last 20 years of being involved in business behavioral psychology. My experience that I'm sharing is coming from having worked in lots of different positions in my life, as have you, and also being involved in helping people to sort of draw out from them why they have these limitations and why they allow these limitations to sabotage their success and how to actually change them. So in future module, you'll hear more about the limiting beliefs and how we can work on changing those or modifying them to suit you. But right now, if we talk about emotional resilience, the most important part, I guess, is carrying on from a previous module is talking about intent. Human beings are, really quite complex creatures, but the one thing that we all have in common is the ability to make a choice. Okay, so we can make a choice at any time to decide whether something is affecting us or not affecting us. Now, it's not as simple as that. I understand that. I mean, I run a therapy clinic, so I worked with trauma victims. So I'm not saying it's as simple as that. But there are times when we just have to make a choice. Because if we don't make a choice, we will end up staying in a victim state. And what we want to learn how to do in business is to be a victor state. And a victor doesn't mean that you achieve everything beautifully. A victor mindset means that no matter what obstacles given to you, you will continue to look for a solution. You're not going to stop at every roadblock. And let's face it, if you believe that the way that online entrepreneurs or anyone succeed is like that, it's not. It's like stop, start, stop, start, stop. It's like this little staircase, and sometimes people fall back down to the bottom, but they get back up. And I think that, for those of you that know, I lost my memory for 4 years. I'm so glad that I had all these foundations of a victor mindset, not a victim mindset, because it could have taken a different path if I hadn't had the victim mindset. The victim mindset means that you are resilient enough to know that you're going to have some little challenges when you're running a business, when you're selling digital products, which is what we're talking about here, when you're creating online courses. So the ability to be able to accept the information that comes back to you, might be a rejection from someone, it might be you might be promoting something and no one takes up the offer. Whatever it may be the fact that you've completed your course and you're not out there promoting it because there's a fear that comes up. No matter what the issue, the more resilient you can become in addressing it from a solution focus, not from a problem focus. You'll never be able to resolve an issue if you keep focusing on the problem. You have to be open to identifying and coming up with a solution. So if someone doesn't buy your course initially, rather than going, oh, why is this happening to me? We're going to be going, okay, well, what do I need to do so that I better explain how amazing it is and why they absolutely need this. And we're going to be talking a lot about that in future modules, in communicating with your clients, in marketing, psychology, and things like that. But ultimately, it's up to you to maintain an emotional resilience to be able to move forward when things don't go the way you might be wanting them to go. A lot of times when I'm actually running workshops, I have people that want they want the success really quickly. They're in a hurry. They have to be there for a certain point of time. It might be a financial time. It might be whatever other time. But ultimately, the less pressure you can put on yourself, the more effective you can be. So sometimes reflecting on the past, why didn't you do that in the past? Why were you spending time on things that weren't being that effective? So the emotional resilience is something that you have to make a choice about. Okay, it's just really a matter of, and we'll be doing this during the 8 weeks. You'll be reminded to keep on track with gathering information from people, so then when you promote all your digital products and your online courses and all the amazing things that you offer, it might be coaching as well or whatever you're offering, to make sure that you're always measuring it from continuous feedback and evaluating what's going well and what isn't. And if it's not going well, changing it. Not going, woe me, why is this happening to me? Asking really good quality questions of yourself. So I'm going to provide an audio for you to listen to this and some questions that I want to pose to you. But I want to just at a high level talk about the topics that are in that particular audio. So they're what I call the foundations of personal growth and development, because I really believe that without these, you're constantly going to be stopping and starting a journey. What I mean by that is you start something, you get all excited, you use your willpower, you're fired up, and then something happens and it takes you off, and then you're like, oh, what happened? You want to start again. So then you start again. And so I've been in this situation. So there's no judgment here. I've been in this situation. And so I know what it can be like. It's frustrating. It feels like you're constantly failing at something, but it's not. It's just because someone out there has been rah-rahing about how you should do this. And it's not really in line with what you believe you want to be doing, or what you want to be sharing in that way, the way that someone's told you to do it. Because you've got to do what's authentic to you. Then it's easy. What I do is authentic to me. I can't pretend that I want to do something that someone else, some other guru has shown me that works for people. It might work for them, but it doesn't work for me. So honest self-reflection about where you are today, how you came to be, what has maybe not worked so well in the past? What have you focused your attention on too many things, or not started and completed things, which is why this 8-week program has been developed, because I want people to start and finish something. That's amazing for your psychology. Even if you never sell anything on this first program, which I'm sure you will anyway, but even if you don't, the process for your psychology, having done that, is you honestly, we can never underestimate it. I've seen amazing things happen when people start and finish something. So the other thing is, just reading off my little list here, because I don't have any notes when I record these, is self-evaluation, so self-awareness, being able to reflect honestly, and self-accountability, basically being able to say, you know what, actually, yeah, that's true. I didn't necessarily use my time effectively then. And I get people to track their time that they spend on social media, scrolling or downloading all these freebies or going on all these free courses everyone offers. Shiny ball syndrome. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. Just focus. Focus for a short amount of time, because trust me, if I can create over 180 digital products at the time of this recording in less than about 16 months, with not really having my memory back, having lost my memory for 4 years, if I can do it with having any skills, you can do it with the skills that you have right now. So the other point I want to talk about is flexibility. So flexibility is being able to adapt to what isn't working, and make a different change, or to say, okay, this is working really well, but I want to scale my business a bit more, so I'm going to have to adapt to outsourcing or whatever it might be. That old quote, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's why I say to people, be flexible. because ultimately when you're flexible, you're able to know what you need to continue that's working really well, or you need to step back and say, well, you know what, this isn't working very well. I really do, honestly, I'm reflecting on what's happening right now and I need to make some changes. So that if you're rigid, you're not going to make those changes. So I hope that you're having a few little aha moments. If you are, write them down in your note book. But I will also request, if you want to, please listen to the audios that are provided and work through those questions as well. They're very short audios, but I want you to work through those questions, and then I'll see you in the next module. Bye for now.